class, there's different ways to approach this here. You were given some shapes and asked to do some various exercises with them. You were asked to translate them so they move, and you could have done this with one. You could have done it with a piece of paper here. So we could have used some patty paper first for number one, and if we'd used the patty paper, what we might have done is traced the first shape, A, C, B, like so. And we trace that shape, and it says, like for number one, in the first example, it asks you to translate triangle ABC that A goes to A prime. Well, this is my A point right here, and I want that A point to now be over here. So in doing so, what I would do is I would redraw that shape over in that position. So I might flip up my patty paper just a little bit to find out where those points are going to be. And I put a little point right here, where that dot's going to be. And I see I'm going to have a point right here for where that dot's going to be. Double check. Yep, got that right. And now I can connect the dots. And I draw this here, here, and here to make that translation. So that's just using the patty paper. I could do the same for figure 2, where it says translate ABC, so that C goes to C prime. And that prime number, that little hashtag there, that C prime, that means it's like C, but it's like this next C, okay? So if I'm going to translate this point, C, over to there, then I'm going to slide the whole thing to that point, okay? Now again, in doing so, I notice that I move all my other points. So my A prime ends up being here. Here's A prime. And B prime ends up being right here. Oops, yeah, that's right. So now I connect the dots again, and I can use this. It's a little different. Oops, sorry about that. And I have my next shape, and I translated it that direction. For figure 3, it says to rotate through triangle ABC 90 degrees counterclockwise using O as my center. Now, what's nice about this one, and I see here I should have made my grid paper a little bit different. Let me make a new chart real quick, my new triangle, sorry. I'm going to go zoom and zoom and zoom. I'm doing that because I want to have O, a place where I can put my pencil at, okay? So if I'm going to rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees, what that means I need to think about, I need this line right here. We're going to go counterclockwise, so we're going this direction. So I'll use this line, and I want it to go 90 degrees, which means I want it to turn a whole turn. Okay? So it means I'm going to take it and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So if I'm here, if I think about a 90 degree measurement, 90 degrees is like a square, right? So it's a square. So let's think of it this way. I need to get this line all the way over to here to make the 90 degrees. So if I drew a diagonal line here, I know I'm aiming for something along over here, except I'm rotating it around that spot. So let's see, if I go over here and wait till it gets to be that same length there, we're going to go 90 degrees, should be somewhere about there. Let's see. Looking good. Pretty good there. We have a nice little rotation of 90 degrees, something like that. Okay? So it's a little tricky to do in some ways, so you might look at it and say, well, 90 degrees. Again, what we're doing is we're saying 90 degrees from here is this point here. Here's 90 degrees at 0. So there's my 90 from the 0, or from the O. Right? That's my 90 degrees from where this is currently. And so we're going to rotate that around to get to that point. Alright, so we're going to go all the way until we get to the place where, that line, our baseline, ends up being here. So for points, I would draw a point right here, a point right here, and coming down 1, 2, right here. And then I would draw in my triangle like so. This, this, and this. So that 90 really is based upon, I don't how I turn that. So I'm waiting for that edge to kind of snap onto that edge of the 90 degree. Something along those lines there. And then finally, our last one here was to take this shape here and then to reflect it using line L across the axis. So it would be like taking the shape and folding it on that line so that we end up with a shape over here like so. So that would look like, there's my dot would go to here. My next dot would go to here. And my next one would go out to here. Right here. And I'm going to connect the dots. We got this, we have this, and we have this. So that becomes C prime, B prime, A prime to reflect there. So that's one way you might have on the lesson. What you were looking at then is just doing some more translations and rotations with different quadrilaterals. And so what you looked at then was rotating quadrilateral ABCD right here, 60 degrees counterclockwise using center B. And so what you were doing was you were taking your shape and you're putting it on the isometric grid right here. So that's our shape, ABCD. And if we're going to rotate it counterclockwise and use the center B, here's B. Counterclockwise means I'm going to move it this direction, right, going that way. So I'm going to move this line right here, for example, to this place right here. So I'm going to rotate that back line to the next point. Finally, I get to a line, and I get to here. So that becomes where I'm going to redraw my shape at, and redraw the shape looking that direction. In 6, if I'm rotating quadrilateral 60 degrees clockwise using center C, then I put this here, and I hold my pencil on the C, and clockwise means I'm going to go this direction, and so I'll take that bottom line here, and I'm going to rotate it up to the next line, which is right here, right? So I'm going to go from this place to this place. I'm only going that far with that bottom line, and when it gets there, I stop. And I know I'm in the right place, and now I got my little crisscross going on, and that's where I am there. When I look at this one, I want to reflect it across line L, and so same type of idea. I take my shape, and then I'm going to bend it or fold it over that reflection line to make that mirror image over here. That's the nice reflection from there to there. And then finally on our last one, figure 8, translate it so that A goes to C. That's just a nice way of saying we're going to take this whole little puzzle, and I'm going to want to put this A point right there where that current C point is at. And so I take it and I simply slide it over, and I redraw the new shape so I have the two things there. Again, this was just a review of what you did in class.